bathroom.
Don't fall off the stair.
Put that down as well. Anne-Marie's been looking forward to coming to here, haven't you?
Mm.
Let's go and have a look. Sorry, I'm gonna open these. Just speaking to the lady on the desk then, and she was saying that they've been trying to keep the place pretty much as though everyone's just left to go home for the day. The old-fashioned plug sockets. General Electric. Crikey. These screens were used for tactical war games, it says here. On this side, the seagoing captains would sit. They would only be able to see a small amount of the situation in front of them, and it would be obscured by gauze. The Wren's officers on the other side controlled the game, directed their sight finders, and moved the ships based on orders posted through the slots. So they were playing war games, really, to try and get a bit of training in, I suppose, for ship movement, ship positions and what have you. There's a note here saying that beneath Littlewood's iconic Littlewoods Pool building lies a World War II air raid shelter with a remarkable secret. During bombing raids, a mystery artist painted portraits of his fellow shelterers on the wall to pass the time. These amazing faces of the Blitz have lain frozen in time underground for 80 years, but none have ever been identified until now. Oh, goodness me, look. Isn't that good? There was a lady that used to live in our street, really, when I was a kid, and she had been a nanny in the Second World War in Liverpool, and she used to tell us of tales of running through the streets that were all in flames, huge buildings on fire, bombs raining everywhere while she was running through the streets holding these children, trying to get them to the shelter. So you can imagine just how crazy it is. When you come in this place, you get an old pass, and this pass apparently is the same as the pass that was used to get in. And on these passes, there's a military stamp, and you can collect the stamps as you go along. So I'll just give this one a stamp. So bear with me a sec. Okay, I've got my stamp, my first one. Anne-Marie's putting hers on now. I'm going to head into what looks like a street. I was talking to the lady on the desk, and she was saying, please feel free to pick things up and look at them and what have you. And photography and videography and what have you is encouraged. Some old newspapers here, War Illustrated, threepence. Stalingrad army wiped out. 16 Axis general among 46,000 captured. That must be a bit later on in the war, that. Yeah, 1943. The Daily Mail, which was 1 penny. General Jean Knox. A lady general. Back in the 40s, now that's something, isn't it? I bet she was a rarity back then. In the sweet shop here. Hitler will send no warning, so always carry your gas mask. Used to have a gas mask for Second World War One. Here's a bomb that hasn't gone off. This £1,000 bomb was dropped by an enemy aircraft during, I can't read that, during intense air raids on Christmas 1940. This and 3 similar bombs struck Tyson's Joinery Works, Dryden Street, Liverpool, demolishing most of their premises. This bomb did not explode and was buried 22 feet underground. It was disarmed by the Royal Engineers. Goodness me. So this is an actual real McCoy drop bomb. I thought it was just a recreation. There you go, there's your emergency cones. Old bike. There's Chad. I suppose a lot of you, like me, are not experts in this kind of thing, so it's quite interesting to see. Phipps potatoes. Eclipse veg. Fern Park pork and beans. Ministry of what? Concentrated soup. Ministry of Food, sorry, concentrated soup. Pea soup. I used to like pea soup back in the day. Tate and Lyle sugar. Ox tongue in jelly. Frey Bentos corned beef. Heinz tomato ketchup in a can. Sainsbury's coffee substitute. Sainsbury's going in the war, were they? I don't know. Strawberry jam. All kinds of grub. Stuff in brown paper bags. Stock cubes. Halfpenny. Flour, pound of flour. Not this kilogram business back then, was there? 200 grams of whatever. Twopence a pound for oatmeal. We want your kitchen waste, pig food. Keep it dry, free from glass, bones, metal, paper. It also feeds poultry. Your council will collect. They do now, don't they? They collect the food waste now. I don't know what happens to it though. I don't think they give it to the pigs. You never know. Old mangle. When I was a kid, we had a washing machine and it had a mangle on the side. My mum used to use it. I think I'm probably one of the last generation of kids to have things like mangles and outside toilets. Most of my generation would be disgusted, probably. What? No toilet in the house? No, we never had one. It's outside, across the yard. Carrots were popular during the war. Dr. Someone, Cammett, carrot is it? I don't know. Featured in many cookery and recipe books. Curried carrot. carrot jam and a drink called carrotade or carolade.
The building was also home to the Western Approaches Tactical Unit, established in 1942
Yeah, because you'd have odd
as
things
field
like,
officers.
wow, someone's got a
Fighting
banana.
German U-boat attacks and developed highly effective countermeasures for escort commanders to adopt. Young, but highly capable and intelligent
Amory's
regiment
getting the
pilots,
photos in.
their work became so important that all naval captains were required to undertake
Bit of a video on over there.
training and proper protocols for
This
them.
must be the pub, the ship.
They commanded the respect of all who saw the impact their work was having. Thanks to the official secrets act, the building was sealed off in 1949 and largely forgotten about until it was rediscovered in the early 1990s. The Battle of the Atlantic
God,
was
look at it
not
all.
long
The
after,
devastation.
with 70,000 members of the armed forces and over 30,000 merchant seamen lost their lives. Without the work of Western approaches, these figures would have been much higher.
We can't,
The Battle of the Atlantic would have
we
been
can't imagine, can we?
Today,
What it'd be
Western
like.
Approaches welcomes visitors from across the globe to learn more about the role that Western Approaches and the city of Liverpool play.
Oh no, Amory's found the clothes shop. That's
It's
it.
also a place to remember and honour those that gave everything to keep Britain
Nice dress.
free from Nazi rule.
Western Approaches HQ. Anderson Shelter. Everyone used to have one of these.
Welcome to Secrets of the Last U-Boat, and this is U-534, one of only 4 World War II U-boats left in existence. It was sunk in the final days of the war and raised from the seabed 50 years later by treasure hunters searching for gold. Now, they didn't find any gold, but what they did find was a different kind of treasure. History. And right here in this exhibition, you can see
How on earth did that photo survive?
the items found on board. But first, what exactly is a U-boat? Well, it's short for Unterseebooten, which is the German word for submarine. Now, German submarines in World War II were designed to do one thing: sink enemy ships. And I don't mean warships. Their main target.
But there's the old plugs. Remember them?
As an island nation, the UK needed supplies
With the round.
food, weapons.
I've still got lamps and that they've got those plugs on them that I need to put new plugs on. They were my nan's.
Hundreds of submarines were sent out to the proud
No way up.
Atlantic hunting for merchant ships.
Kriegsmarine vest.
It became a tonnage war where the success of the battle was measured
Trunks.
in tons of shipping lost.
Tropical uniform shorts.
The Allies could build new ones, surely Britain could be defeated. We know now, of course, that Britain and her allies held their ground. People don't realise just how close it was. U-boats inflicted staggering
In one of the archive boxes, we came across a wallet that had not been examined before. Upon opening it up, we discovered 3 folded pieces of paper inside.
That's a line of fully loaded
2 of the pieces had unfortunately faded, but on the third turned out to be something rather special. On the third piece of paper, we noticed visible and legible handwriting. Once translated from German to English, we discovered that the piece of paper was in fact a kit list that belonged to none other than the captain of the U-534, Herbert Nolau. In the upper right-hand corner of the paper, you can see his name written. Could this have been the wallet of the mysterious Captain Nolau, or did he give his kit list to a member of crew to take care of? Regardless who they belong to, this wallet and kit list certainly are a big discovery.
of the
That's right.
37,000 U-boat men who served during the war. Only 9,000 survived.
Yeah, you can just about see.
U-534 was one of the very last to be sunk on the day the submarines were ordered to surrender. Up until that day, it was fairly unremarkable though. U-534 was one of the big tight mines built with the range to easily cruise to America, but never really had a chance to fight. A commander, Herbert Nolau, had previously sunk 7 ships as the second in command on U-505.
The Enigma machine.
The only other tight mine still in existence.
This was used for translating German communications, wasn't it, during the war?
She was equipped with the absolute latest technology.
Never actually seen one, it's pretty cool to see, isn't it?
Enhanced sonar and a snorkel so they could stay in the water indefinitely. It was the last U-boat to leave Germany and was on the way to Norway when a British bomber caught her on the surface. That morning, the order to surrender had already been transmitted to all the U-boats, but U-534 did not fly the surrender flight, and so the bombers began to attack. Even to this day, we're not sure why.
Let's watch a little bit of this. Pause it for a sec.
Of architects helping us turn the whole thing into a
looking at the
Interested in finding out
old
more?
wooden roof.
Check out How to Fix a U-Boat for a behind-the-scenes look at this gigantic project.
I wonder what was behind that door years ago. Originally, this room would have housed the wireless telegraphy receivers, radios for the RAF, manned by the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, the WAFs. That's where the radios were, look. Good, no? Old venting systems. Old phones. And the old lights. I've seen lights like that in houses still. Oh, look, there's another stamp for my book. Let's get that one stamped down as well. Close. There we go, got a second stamp now. Western Approaches HQ. The old corridor. And ventilation systems up on the top there. Secretaries, RN. Ooh, look. The combined HQ main switchboard. I don't know what that is. It's like a little cupboard space of some kind. Oh, there's the mouse. I don't think these actually have any no, I was going to say I don't think they actually have any output, but I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't have a clue. I know that you connect these into, you have to connect these into different slots. Anne-Marie wants me to have a photograph taken. pause this for a second while she lines up the picture. Right, okay, what I've noticed over here, we've got ring and speak, ring back, dial, call and answer. I don't know what the difference between ring and call is. Not sure. Speak holds, ring it doesn't hold, ring back doesn't, dial does. I'm assuming you do your dialing with your That's not alien to me because that's what phones were when I was a kid. There's none of this push button business. One of the sad things I find with places like this is the people who actually worked in them until not that long ago were multiple, really. There's loads of them. But as time moves on, inevitably they're all disappearing. I think these are the people who had their portraits done. These switches work. It's there for show, I suppose. No admittance. Oh, goodness me, look at this place. That's interesting looking, isn't it? Just round the corner. Information on the escorts, convoy escorts, etc. Metal ladders. I'm assuming that wooden one there's on wheels, moves back and forward so they can adjust the map as they see fit. Fascinating. Over there. A radio room. It's the other side of that window now. Oh, another stamp. Stamp number 2. Oh dear. May have jumped the gun a bit because I've already got 2. Get me book stamped. 3rd one, look. It's a navy one, that, isn't it? These are the girls who would have worked in here. Practice H. Right, okay. Practice your Morse code here. Listen for the code. For each letter, they repeat it. Okay, let's have a go. And here's my little Morse. Does that sound right? Do you reckon? What's next? K, I'm assuming. I think you can adjust this a bit. I don't know what this does. I remember. M. That sounds better to me. Wondered if the battery's going. I wonder what this is. Oops, it's an MFJ 557. Would you like to have a go, love? Suppose that. There we go. Amber wanted a video doing for FaceTube, so we've got that done. Pulse speed, pulse ratio, receive. Look at the old phone. He's having a go again. Pitch, gain, oscillator selector, band switch. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Some of this lot though, I'm really not sure on. What's that, AVC or something, AVG? HT on and off, what's that, HT? I know HT leads. Noise silencer, maybe that cleans the signal, I don't know. Interesting stuff though, isn't it? And these girls knew it inside out, fair play to them. That was supposed to be CQD. Come quick distress. That's what they used before SOS. I don't think it was a very good version of it. No, it's museum stuff. Well, I think we'll leave the radio room now. It was good fun having a look around the old machines and the Morse code machine. See what's a bit further down the corridor. Entrance to operations. Silence. RAF controller. Main power board. 250 amps, 500 volts. Please do not touch. I'm assuming they're breakers of some kind. Pull them out, like fuses, I don't know. Pressure contact. The old meters. Yeah, they're digital now. You don't get the little spinning disc now, do you? When I first moved in my house, it still had the spinning disc. Oh, the mouse is hidden again. Where is he this time? There he is, look. I can hear. Oh, he said. I can hear wallop as well.
The rest of the field is good air protection while we fought, and there was only one area 2 yards deep. But the work was done the same. They were very casual while we were there. One night we took it to a theatre, or hall of structure as they call it, which includes film, theatre, and dancing in one building. We came home in convoy, but there was no chance to give us a big send-off. Another convoy got in, and the tanks and planes were being sent on their way to work. For our voyage home, we had no enemy attack, but the weather was severe. This was my first time to it, but the impression I got was that they were all out to win.
One of the things we'll never forget about Eagle happened during a convoy to Malta in June. 4 of my squadron were in the air at the time. We had an excellent view, and I wish you could have been there too. There was a very blue sea, a blazing sun, a convoy steaming along protected by its warships, and the skies black with birds, and among them perhaps 3 or 4 dozen black Italian torpedo bombers with small hurricanes dipping in and out among them. I can see 5 Italians going down in flames. The old eagles keep on their way. The guns are firing fast. And suddenly I can see a white plume of smoke coming from one of the hurricanes, just as he was skydiving. He asked from the RT, just outside the radio, to make an emergency land. But the ship couldn't turn into wind because she was being attacked so fierce. He made a problem landing downwind. His wings being flooded with oil, and the ship's guns actually firing stuff. It was a signal for everyone in Eagle that she would stop. Swinging very briefly from the water, and when he was part of grand speed, they would move their damage the end. Yet it hadn't been heard of the first ship this time. We were in the air at the time.
Gentleman was in the Merchant Navy, and he was sunk by the Germans, aged 26. But unfortunately, in 1943, the Fort Concord ship was torpedoed by U-457. The ship sank within 5 minutes and only 19 of the 56 crew survived. Captain Ryan left behind a grieving wife and 2 young daughters. The Battle of the Atlantic, in memory of all who gave their lives. Oh, we get to go in the big room this way. Oh, crikey. This is good, isn't it? Hammer's going to take some photos, so I'll... Shall I go through here? Oh no, there's a... There's a particular route to follow, I think. Bought in Heswell. Back lady at the bottom. Take a peep through the peepholes in the screen to try and find the U-boats in green. I see. I don't know if this will pick these up at all. I think it's just a bit. Let's give it a blast, eh? Let's give it a blast. Can you see that? And you can manoeuvre it. Bit difficult to capture on this, but Patricia Patty Lane died on duty from injuries sustained in a tragic accident in the main operations room here in 1943. leaving messages. And people telling them their position. I suppose so they don't get mistaken for enemy and blown out the water. Quite some height this, I'd say it's, I don't know, about 40 feet high, I guess. Maybe more, maybe 50 feet high. It's quite high though. Oh, the mouse is hidden in here again somewhere. There he is, on top of the ladder over there. Now up here I'm assuming is where the important people were. The bigwigs. And there's another stamp. I think that's the last one, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, the last stamp for my book. There we go. Last stamp done. There's a speaking tube somewhere. Oh, I see it there. Look at that, though. Speaking tube. What's in there? Another device. I don't want to head that way just yet. I think that is the right way to go, but I want to have a look at this North Atlantic. I've got the stamp. I want to have a look at this North Atlantic route that we kind of bypassed. So I was in awe of looking in this room instead. Quick nose in here as well. Please do not stand on the glass. I suppose this is just to show you how they used to have wiring or something, because you can see the wiring going through the floor down there. HMS Bluebell, a Flower class corvette, served as a escort for convoys. Convoy report. Destination Archangelsk. Convoy PQ-18 was an Arctic convoy of 40 Allied freighters from Scotland and Iceland to Archangelsk in the Soviet Union. cattle on the foreshore. Scotland, yeah, I can definitely say that there's plenty of big brown horny cattle knocking round up in Scotland. And deer at night time as well, they come out as soon as the sun goes away. So this is what they must have worn. Please do not touch the mannequins, oh dear. Oh, that's modern Royal Navy gear. That's a standard issue Soviet Red Army. It's as far out as I can zoom. Second World War Royal Navy Arctic gear. Please try them on for yourself. I don't think it would fit me, to be honest, but I'd like to feel the thickness of the coat. Oh yeah. Goodness me, there's definitely that'll keep you warm, that. There's a thickness to it. It's quite dense. And some of the old boys. If it wasn't for those guys, where would we be now? Mersey arrival. 2 corvettes in harbour defence assembled on the River Mersey. Nice little watercolour. Tried the story. Yeah. You can go in the phone booth and have a listen to the stories. I'm still in awe of this room. It's a beast, isn't it? Look at that up there, the lamp. The stairs are going up in a minute, so we might get to see a little bit of that. But whilst Anne-Marie's having a quick look at the convoy, I'm going to have 5 minutes sit down. So I'll speak to you in a sec. One thing I did find here, just as I'm sat in this giant war room, is a report on Admiral Karl Donitz. One of the interesting things about this, he was a German naval officer who proved a major role in Germany's naval tactics. He was basically in charge of the German Navy, and Hitler put him in charge at the end of the war of Nazi Germany. And when Hitler died, when Hitler committed suicide, Donitz ordered all forces to cease operations in 1945. He was then arrested and he was put in prison. It says here he served 10 years of his 11.5-year sentence before being released from prison in 1956. He died in the village of Amhul in northwestern Germany on the 24th of December 1980. And then it's got a picture of him here. This is Admiral Donitz. Place of birth, Berlin. Date of birth, 16th of September 1891. Died in 1980, so he was 89 when he died. Karl Donitz. And what's interesting about this for me personally is I know a gentleman who worked in Spandau prison after the war, and he was in charge of keeping an eye on Admiral Donitz as one of his prisoners. And he said that if you spoke to Admiral Donitz, you'd be extremely surprised because he spoke absolutely perfect Queen's English. So if he managed to squirrel himself away over here, no one would have known. His English was absolutely spot on, and he was extremely polite apparently. Quite a gentleman. And the chap I was talking to that looked after him said he wasn't a Nazi, he was just a German officer. So that was an interesting one for me, finding that report. And the gentleman who was in charge of looking after him, he's just like a regular soldier, is 90. He's 90 now, and he was only a young man when he was keeping an eye on Donetsk. So yeah, just shows you how old the people in the Second World War actually are now, doesn't it? Or the ones who served. I know we saw the last of the Tommies a couple of years ago. I don't think it's going to be too long until we see the last of the serving staff, soldiers, officers, etc. of the Second World War, sadly, which is bizarre to me because they were all not particularly that old when I was a kid, you know. Probably in the 50s, maybe. 40s, 50s. Right, so there we go. Right, I think we're finally going to leave this room. We're going to head off upstairs, I think. Keep mum, she's not so dumb. In other words, that lady could easily be a German spy. Right, past the main power board again, and now we're heading off upstairs. We have up here the fire exit, the Royal Marines, Derby House and the Western Approaches HQ were guarded by men from the Royal Marines. The men were permanently armed when on duty with a pistol, and if it was external guard duty, it was with a Lee Enfield No. 4 rifle. Other weapons available to them were the Thompson submachine guns and even a Vickers heavy machine gun at a reinforced post at the Rumford Street entrance. This metal door was one of the main entrances to the bunker and would have been permanently under armed guard. Goodness me. And I think that's an original door as well. That all passes must be shown. There's your Royal Marine uniform. And a saucy lady on the key. Locker thing, look. Scandalous stuff for 1940s. Oh, wait up, there's some beds in here. The guard room. This must be where the guards had a kip. Could you pick out what's modern and what's not? Mobile phone, pop-in thing, skin tan, the Dominoes, Capstan, cigarettes. And they used to do Capstan full strength, didn't they? There's John Mills, recognise him. Titanic bath soap. And this is where they'd had a bit of a wash. Little cupboard for the goodies and a solid bed. To be honest, and that feels a bit more comfy than the one in the Travel Lodge. Love the old cupboard. like stuff like that, the stuff that you threw out when Nan died. It's like a little kitchen type area here. There's a hot plate. Is that an old gas oven? Oh, Emery's setting it up for a photo. I'll shift out of the way for a sec. The grill. Get a picture of the grill as well. Telephone communications. Western approaches are direct telephone lines to the Admiralty and the Cabinet War Rooms. The main naval base is under its command and Washington DC. Oh, grief. What I wanted to see on the cooker is it one of those old gas things where you've got a great big hole? No, it's a actual hot plate. The Admiral's chauffeur. You can tell that this bed was a little bit more tasty, can't you? I drove an Austin Princess. Yeah, but it's not the Austin Princess you're thinking of. It's the old Austin Princess. Love the old car.
We used a machine to roll off and stain your hands purple. And if it was a secret one, we had to deal with those. And so I'd come off Tuesday with purple hands and a ladder in my stocking. And I was waiting on the platform. And the head popped out the window, the Admiral, and said, "I've got a carriage to myself, would you like to join me?" Devil was a very different kettle of fish, of course. His son was certainly charming. I didn't know very well, obviously. I was a leading red, that sort of charge of D-watch coders at that time. But he was polite, you know. I remember just being in the lift with him, and he said good morning, and so someone would have spoken to you, of course. He was a handsome man.
Admiral Sir Max Horton was Commander-in-Chief Western Approaches from November 1942 to August 1945.
Come on that weekend, a Saturday. So I set out, got onto the East Lancs Road, and I got a lift into the tunnel in Liverpool, and they had a policeman on duty. So I got out of the lorry, got off the lorry, had a word with this policeman. He says, "Okay, fine." And about 5 minutes later, a huge limousine through, black, a big standard on the front. So I took one look at it and the light disappeared. I thought, no, that's not for me. So anyway, the policeman came round a few minutes later and he said, they want to give you a lift in the big limousine. So I said, no, I'll be all right. So he came back a few seconds later and he looked down and a grin on his face. He says, I've had instructions to tell you to do as you're told. So I went round to the car and the wheel door was open and I got in. I sat in the far corner was this naval officer. On his arms he had rings going up as far as his armpits. On his head he had his cap with scrambled eggs all round the top. And he said, sit in the corner there. So I sat in the corner. He said, how long have you been in the Navy? So I said, well, I've been in roughly about 6 months.
Aha, I found the mouse.
And he says, what rank am I? So I held off. So I just looked at them and I said, well, you're certainly very high up, sir. And he said, yes. I said, an admiral? So he said, the C&C, Western Approaches. And you know, just nothing on the sleeves, nothing at all. And he said, well, where do you live? So I told him I lived in Birkenhead, and I come from a very poor district. I do your name? So I said, I will write out. He said, I didn't ask you that. So I wrote it here. And I said, Baker Street. Driver, I said, sir, he said, do you know where Baker Street is? So he said, yes. So, what number? 60. So we went round to 60 Baker Street and pulled it outside. He got out of the car, came round the corner and knocked at the door. My mum came to the door. What have you done? I said, hey, no.
Admiral Sir Percy Noble was Commander-in-Chief Western Approaches from February 1941 to November 1943.
Oh. This cinema was taken from from the Admiralty in London, apparently. Prime Minister Winston Churchill watched secret footage of the war on it. Goodness me. Interesting bit of kit, eh? And the old film that they used to use. Not sure, was that 35mm in those cans? I'm not 100%. Made by Kodak Limited. The museum here has plans to restore the projector to its original fully working order. Fair play to them. Hope they're successful in that. Able Seaman, Royal Navy, 1943. And one of the Wrens, 1943. I haven't got any more space in my book, but there is yet another stamp. Let's put that one there, say. Hey? What? Oh.
See? Go around and buy your exits and look at them.
Oh, I did before. Is it the one that's got the little nubbin on it?
That.
No. Oh, that's round the corner. No, it's not part of the tour, though, is it?
No, but you can see it.
found another blast door. I'm a bit concerned because my battery's not going to last much longer in this rascal, but I've got a charger with me, so I can get it on charge a little. But she's on about this one round here. There. Look at that beast. Yep, that's another side on that. There we go. Right. Save some battery for a sec. 10% I'm down to on my battery. So hopefully we get a little bit of this in. Captain Johnny Walker. Well, we know Johnny Walker, don't we? We've seen him before. Escort groups. The Women's Royal Naval Service had a long and glorious history from its inception in 1917 to their dissolution in 1993. Bloody hell, don't they have the Wrens now? Good God. I suppose they're all just part of a standard Royal Navy now. There's no such thing as Wrens, perhaps. I'm guessing. What a shame. Fully integrated into the Royal Navy. Well, I thought they would be fully integrated into the Royal Navy anyway. The girl certainly did an important job. Look at this beauty. Was it a Royal Enfield? Is that? Yeah, Royal Enfield. This girl, Pamela McGeorge, was chucked off a bike whilst delivering an important message as bombs were flying off and it threw her off a bike. She carried on, fair play to her. A class of girls were trained in the signal school in 1918 as wireless telegraphists. They were picked, mostly but not all, young public school girls, and to everyone's astonishment they beat all records of the signal school. Well done, girls. Here we go. This lady left her job at John Lewis's to go and work in the as a war effort. She was promoted to a chief officer in the REMS, and she was involved in the evacuation of Dunkirk in 1941. And she'd have worked in Lewis's in Liverpool. The proper Lewis's, not the Mickey Mouse one that we've got now. Look. This young lady here, Elizabeth Copley, was born in Yorkshire in 1923, and there's a photograph of her in 2019 when she come back to visit in the room where she learned to play poker in 1945. Goodness me. I suppose that times were looking up a little bit more in 1945. Lovely uniform, isn't it? Girls used to have a gorgeous uniform. I think they all wear flipping same as the blokes now. Probably more efficient, but I think the girls' uniform was a lot more smart than the blokes. The blokes' uniform always looked like, I don't know, like a pair of pyjamas or something. 60s and the 70s. Roles introduced for the Wrens in the 60s and 70s. Traffic controllers, electrical officers, air hostesses, nurses. Air hostess. Yeah, let's have a look. 1990s, here we go. Pilots. Were the girls allowed to be pilots before the 1990s? Goodness me. A lot more equality. I mean, things have come on fantastic in the years, so girls have got a lot more equality than they once had. And I do agree with that. There's an old bath, old tin bath. These are the toilets. Lovely.
Hang on. Get your camera over there. Get your camera up over the top.
Why, what's down there?
The toilets.
Are they still there?
Yep.
They've been hidden behind the doors.
If you don't believe me, if you don't believe me, look at that.
Oh, and Marie's got a photo. Good Lord, look at that toilet. I suppose you guys have seen it on the video. And there's the sinks. Just reading a story on the wall there about some chap trying it on with a girl, virtually bending her backwards over a desk so he can have a cheeky kiss. Luckily, she gave him a flipping good clout. Fair play to her. Oh, LGBTQ. I don't know what the Q is. I'm a bit of an old goat. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, Q+. I don't know what that means. Bit of a dinosaur, I think. Ah, a few more uniforms getting ready. Was that Operation Desert Storm or something? And then there's a lovely room here. Goodness me! I mean, look how low that chair is, though. So look, let's see if I can get my foot in there to give you an idea. There's my foot. That's low. It's about as high as a can of Red Bull off the floor. I wouldn't fancy sitting on that for long periods. But it looks like Dame Vera Lawton Matthews may have done. Poor girl. Maybe she's in charge then, Dame Vera. Let's find her. Can you see her on there? There she is. 1939 to 1946. So she was the war girl. Fair play. She loves sea shanties, enjoying leading group singing sessions. She sounds like fun. Looks like she take no messing as well. Dame Catherine Furs. First World War, this lady. Goodness me. Died in 1952, born 1875. And there she is in 1917, look. Love the room. The secretary, I love that girl's hair. And there's an old light fitting. I think. And around the corner, I think this is only for the VIPs, not allowed around here, but it's part of the old building. Like a fire exit then. What did you say, love?
I wonder what's in there.
In where? Down?
Cover up these things so you can't see them.
Oh, yeah.
The camera reaches over the top.
Ah, I see. I don't know why they're closed off. Maybe it's because
The
they're...
toilets are all smashed, so they put information boards in front of them.
Oh, someone's broken them.
Why
Maybe,
don't they just put like perspex?
maybe someone has done that since it's been...
Yeah,
Ready
all
to-
those cameras around. Perspex.
Yeah, I know, you still get
So
idiots,
that you
don't
can
you?
see them even though they're smashed.
Yeah.
No, that's bothered.
You can actually touch the uniform.
So this is like in small areas.
Like a linen type. Oh, I didn't see that. Crate up on the top there. 3 OCA Cartwright, Wardroom, HMS Sultan, Gosport, Hants. Oh, HMS Sultan, I have to look that one up. The differences, you know, over the years, and you've got Errol Flynn, looking very card-like, I say, kind of Terry Thomasy. And then you've got the Beatles, and then in the 70s you've got Chewbacca, and in the 80s you've got Adam Antlock, and Prince and what have you. Molly Ringwald and other such people. What's this? A special ticket admits 2 people to the Cavern Club in 1966. I think the Beatles were too famous by then. I think they cleared off, and probably the Beatles were there in 1963 or something. Oh, here we go, look. The Beatles at the Cavern, August 1963. What a guess. With the Mersey Beats, the Escorts, the Roadrunners, the Sapphires, and Johnny Ringo and the Colts. That would have been a gig to go to, wouldn't it? Seller on the door selling the tickets. Right, mate. Oh, that's fine. My camera's disappeared somewhere. She's probably trying to get her camera into places we're not supposed to go. Sounds wrong, that.
There's over that one there.
Yeah.
Not with clothes, there's no toilet. There would have been 2 toilets there.
All smashed again.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. So one's women's section and one's men's.
I see. It's a shame that it's
And
smashed,
we've had a
isn't it?
door as well, door here, but the doors. Oh,
I still love these. I'm still keen on these old switches.
Bakelite.
Well, I don't know. I think that's metal, that one. But you can get Bakelite ones, though. Yeah, the brown plasticky type stuff. It was like the pre-plastic stuff, wasn't it? Bakelite. We used to have Bakelite lights. In fact, Mum may still have one in her house. I'm not sure. girl. Wouldn't want to mess with her, would you? I love this bike. I was going to say, he's got a speedo now. He's got amp meter for the battery. No speedo though. Throttle. God, the brakes on it aren't much better than something you get on a bicycle. Amazing, really. I think we're nearly finished here now. Anne-Marie's going to be reaching around for more toilets. So I'll pause for a sec, save the battery because there isn't much left. Right, so we're coming to the end now. Signals and telephone exchange. This equipment is being restored at the moment, apparently. Those old telephone exchange. Doesn't it still, to an extent, look like what you'd see in a server room? Do you know what I mean? With the cabs and the racks and what have you. You know, it's obviously from a different era, etc., but looks similar to me. And I think this is the way out now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to choose a building where the Second World War was won, the White House in Washington DC might be a choice, the British Ministry of Defence building in London might be a possibility, or one might very well choose Derby House in Liverpool. Bitter Ocean, David Fairbanks White. Goodness me. Just look at the ice on the guns on that ship. And just look at the walkway. Imagine working in that. It's starting to get dark outside now. There's the Liver building, that's how close we are. Just across the road, really. I'd say come and see the place. And you even get free tea. How good is that? Okay, so we've just been to the World War II Museum, Western Approaches HQ. They're open 10 till 6 every day, and I recommend giving them a bit of a visit, have a look around. It's really interesting if you're into your World War II, especially your Atlantic convoy, etc. History. It's really interesting in there, and it cost us, I think, £11.50 each to get in, but we've got blue light cards, so I think it's about £13 to get in each. But the walk, it depends on yourself really. The walk could last a couple of hours. We spent a couple of hours in there, so if you run through it you get there in about an hour probably. But you also get a free cup of tea or coffee at the end. You can have 3 or 4 of them if you want, you know, so you can't knock that, can you? Trip round the museum and a cup of tea, 13 quid. I mean, you're probably looking at about 3 quid for a cup of tea in Weathers, aren't you? So, not bad at all.